From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Hundreds of acres burned, leaving many no choice but to evacuate their homes. Firefighters across the valley team up to fight the ongoing wildfire. We take you live to the Tenderfoot Fire.
Plus, H2O has to go. Phoenix becomes one of the newest homes for Nestle Water, why some are concerned about its arrival.
And the three-day funeral service for Muhammad Ali begins. Thousands pay their respect to the legendary boxer in his hometown of Louisville, Kentucky.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Christina Tatro.
And I'm Blair McElroy. Thanks for joining us. Fire officials say they're taking it one step at a time in their fight against the Tenderfoot Fire. We have live coverage on the fire. It's on the east side of Yarnell. In 2013, the Yarnell Hill Fire was on the west side. The Tenderfoot Fire has now burned over 1,200 acres. 250 to 300 residents of the nearby town of Yarnell evacuated last night. Fire officials say ground forces and air support are working to push the fire east away from the town. Cronkite News reporter Eddie Keller is live in Wickenburg, and he talked to residents who left their homes last night.
Hey, we're about 30 miles down the road right now, but I can still see the massive pillar of smoke coming from the fire. We were able to speak to a few people who saw the fire firsthand. One woman described the fire coming down the mountain looking like a sea of lava approaching her. Another said she saw a Verizon store actually go up in flames. We went up the mountain as close as we could, but when we were there, we only saw the beginnings of the pillar of smoke rising in the sky. There was a lineup of cars belonging to residents who had been evacuated from their homes, saying that they were awaiting a police escort to go back and see if it was safe or if there had been any damage done to their property.
We talked to a friend of ours that stayed up here. He did not evacuate. He was on the west side of 89. And he said everything was fine. He did not see any houses burning, so we're hopeful.
Fire officials I spoke with said that these are really the key hours right now that are going to determine whether or not the fire situation gets better or if it gets worse. But we'll keep you updated as the day goes on. Live in Wickenburg, Eddie Keller, Cronkite News.
We just got word that FEMA has declared the Yarnell fire a major disaster, making the state eligible for federal funds to cover firefighting costs. The move comes in response to a request from the State Department of Forestry and Fire Management.
An abandoned campfire is now being linked to the fire burning north of Payson, known as the Reservoir Fire. The fire began on Monday, burning nearly 200 acres of land. Firefighters were successfully able to control the fire. Crews say it's actually expected to remain in its current parameter. The reservoir is still being closed to the public. Two other controlled fires, Juniper and Jack, near the Coconino and Tonto National Forest, are being used to maintain landscape. Both fires were caused by lightning. Due to current weather conditions, fire operations will begin to slow down during the day. Another nearby fire in Wellington continues to improve. The 923-acre fire forced nearby residents to evacuate. As of last night, residents have been cleared to return to their homes. Crews continue to monitor its progress.
Changes near the I-10 are bringing together Arizona, California, New Mexico, and Texas in hopes to make the cross-country route safer. The four states recently signed an agreement to create a coalition improving planning, expanding technology, and sharing best practices. The Arizona Department of Transportation's director proposed the I-10 agreement, modeling it on one involving states along Interstate 95 on the East Coast. The Beverage Marketing Corporation says bottled water is on the verge of becoming the most consumed beverage in the United States. Water consumption rose more than 120% over 15 years. Other beverages, including soda, fruit beverages, energy drinks, and coffee, dropped nearly 20%. The switch to water bottles means people save between 20 and 30,000 calories.
It's getting hot and everybody likes to carry around their water bottles, but these little plastic bottles have been creating quite a stir here in the valley. Nestle is building a new bottled water plant in Phoenix, and there are some people who say desert is no place for a water plant.
There is no water issue in connection with this plant.
Sarah Porter knows about water in Arizona. As the director of the Kyle Institute for Water Policy, she knows the water problems that our desert state faces.
The Nestle plant will actually use comparatively little water when you compare it with, for example, a beer bottling plant or a soda pop bottling plant.
Still, it's hard for a lot of people to understand why a water plant is being built in a state with a drought.
For me, the argument becomes much more philosophical. I know from a bunch of research that I've done that Nestle seems to be targeting kind of drought-stricken areas.
Stacy Champion is one of thousands of Arizonans who have signed a petition to protest Nestle coming to the valley. And she's right. They're moving here in part because of our climate. Nestle says the dry Southwest drinks a lot of bottled water. In fact, water bottle usage went up 10% last year.
I think people in Phoenix, I know they buy a lot of bottled water.
Both Porter and Champion agree the main concern isn't the water, but the bottle it comes in.
Putting it in a plastic bottle that needs petroleum to be made in the first place.
They also agree the debate over water is always good in a state where water is so precious. In a statement, the city of Phoenix says they have enough water supply to support a vibrant economy in a responsible and sustainable manner. But they understand public concern, and city officials will be at a public meeting tomorrow afternoon to talk to the community about the proposed plant.
The Arizona Board of Regents' Business and Finance Committee will vote tomorrow to finance the Sun Devil Stadium renovation project. This $96,850,000 square foot stadium will require the approval from the committee to sell more bonds to cover its unexpected costs in the future construction. Wednesday night, Glendale hosted the second of 3 Copa America matches at University of Phoenix Stadium when Ecuador and Peru played to a draw. Just under 12,000 fans turned out, a far cry from the more than 60,000 who took in Mexico's victory over Uruguay on Sunday at the stadium. But those who were there Wednesday night were excited to have the event in the U.S. for the first time.
Copa America, it's a great, it's a great cup, for us all South Americans, especially here being in the United States the first time. It's very exciting because we have not get a chance like this in our lifetime to go and watch it in our own country. So it's really wonderful that they're doing it here in the States.
The next Copa America match in Glendale, the tournament's third place game on June 25th.
Thousands are looking forward to honoring the greatest, Muhammad Ali, at his funeral tomorrow. Limited tickets were distributed to the public yesterday. Hundreds waited in line starting at midnight to remember Ali. Now others were just trying to make a profit. Only 4 tickets were given per person, but scalpers were now trying to make a profit by selling those free tickets for $200 and $300 online. The spokesperson for the Ali family called the scalping, quote, despicable. 15,000 tickets will be given out in all. The Muhammad Ali Memorial Service is expected to start at 2 p.m. Friday afternoon.
Kentucky and the world prepares to say goodbye to the champ. Today, a Muslim prayer service took place at Louisville's Freedom Hall. That's where Ali's last hometown fight was in 1961. We have a team in Louisville. Cronkite News reporter Lindsay Wisniewski attended the service.
Muhammad Ali may have lived in Phoenix for the last decade, but he grew up here in Louisville, and people all across the country are here to say farewell, including 15,000 this morning at Freedom Hall for a janazah, a traditional Islamic funeral service.
We saying goodbye to a legend, a one of a kind. It's never going to be none like him, I don't think, in my lifetime. So, but it's still an honor to say goodbye.
I enjoyed his spunk about what he did, what he has done for the children here and there and everywhere, Africa and United States and all over the world. I thought that was very, very beautiful.
Muhammad Ali, I think, shows how this country truly should have been. and the potential it still has to keep going on forward.
Tomorrow, a morning processional through the streets of Louisville past Ali's boyhood home will be followed by a memorial here at the KFC Yum Center. Guests from Phoenix expected to attend include Jimmy Walker, founder of Celebrity Fight Night, a Valley nonprofit that Ali's been a part of for nearly 20 years. In Louisville, Lindsay Wisniewski, Cronkite News.
Former President Bill Clinton, Brian Gumbel, and Billy Crystal will be among those delivering eulogies at tomorrow's memorial service. To stay up to date with our coverage out of Louisville, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
The president shows his support for one Democratic nominee.
Coming up on Cronkite News, who he thinks the most qualified candidate ever to run for office.
Plus, find out what House Republicans are doing to stay united, not divided, over internal party conflicts.
The true measure of all our actions is how long the good in them lasts.
This is who I am, where I'm from.
If you're on the right side of history, you can accomplish anything.
It's a connection between your present and your past.
Come this way. This is good. This is very good.
We are attempting to fulfill the promise of America.
The stories about who we are shape us.
This is a chance to go through a time machine.
Good heavenly days.
We should know our history.
It informs, but it doesn't constrict you.
It's a framework to carry out human activity.
The sky is the limit.
It started a long time ago.
For only the third time in the award's 74-year history, a Phoenix-based news operation wins the prestigious Alfred I. DuPont Columbia Award for Excellence in Broadcast Journalism. And this year, that news operation is Cronkite News, the news division of Arizona PBS, honored for its work on the groundbreaking documentary, Hooked, Tracking Heroin's Hold on Arizona. Cronkite News at Arizona PBS, award-winning journalism you can count on from the station you trust.
After being considered the presumptive Democratic nominee, Hillary Clinton received an endorsement of presidential proportions.
For more than a year now, across thousands of miles in all 50 states, tens of millions of Americans have made their voices heard. Today, I just want to add mine.
In this video released earlier today on social media, President Barack Obama officially announced his endorsement for Hillary Clinton, saying that he doesn't think there's ever been someone so qualified to hold office. President Obama also urged the Democratic Party to unite behind Clinton. Clinton thanked the president on Twitter, saying that she's fired up and ready to go. President Obama will join Hillary Clinton on the campaign trail. His first stop with her will be in Green Bay, Wisconsin on June 15th.
Meanwhile, after President Obama met up with Senator Bernie Sanders at the White House to discuss party unity, Sanders said he isn't bowing out of the presidential election just yet. Sanders mentioned that he plans to remain in the race through next week's primary in Washington, D.C. However, the main focus in his address after his meeting with President Obama was on defeating a common enemy in Donald Trump.
I look forward to meeting with her in the near future to see how we can work together to defeat Donald Trump and to create a government which represents all of us and not just the 1%.
Sanders also said he will do everything in his power to make sure Trump does not become the next president of the United States.
Now that she's the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee, Hillary Clinton has her sights on who will be her running mate come November. In an interview with CNN, the former Secretary of State said she's turning her attention to selecting a running mate ahead of this summer's Democratic National Convention. And she made it loud and clear that she wants someone who will be ready for anything.
Well, look, I'm looking at the most qualified people, and that includes women, of course, because I want to be sure that whoever I pick could be president immediately if something were to happen. That's the most important qualification. There are a lot of people in the Democratic Party who bring so
Now, Clinton said she's not quite sure when she'll announce her running mate.
On the note of national security, House Republicans met in Washington to discuss recommendations for securing our borders instead of being divided over internal party conflicts. Homeland Security Committee Chair Michael McCaul didn't mention Donald Trump by name, but said Republicans have to be careful not to inflame certain groups with talk about banning them from the country. He says the U.S. needs to find a way to stop possible threats before they arrive.
And the U.S. Senate has rejected an effort from Senator John McCain to add nearly $18 billion to the Pentagon's budget for additional weapons and troops. McCain and other Republicans pushed for the additional funds to make up for last year's defense budget, which they say left the armed forces undersized and unprepared to meet growing worldwide threats. The measure was just 4 votes short from passing the Senate. A new bill may give a voice to the LGBT community.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we break down how your IDs and federal forms could be changing.
And keeping it civil be taken for politicians not keeping it civil during the political season.
In the middle of rather a drama.
I've been thinking about the circumstances of the crime and the nature of love.
It's romantic, is it? Isn't it?
Seems to me as if the answer is right in front of you.
I'm a high-functioning sociopath.
You are being irrational.
Need to go.
Will you do a blood test?
No.
You want to hit me now?
Do you think that makes me a wicked woman, sister?
Will the prisoner rise?
There is only one thing I would like.
Hey.
Sex?
Heartbreak.
Or love? Oh, yummy.
Stop it! Papa? Is everything all right in there?
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
A federal appeals court rules on concealed weapons permits, trying to limit their availability. But it looks like no changes are in store for Arizona. The ruling says that people do not have a Second Amendment right to carry concealed weapons, also saying officials can require concealed permit applicants to show they have a reason beyond self-defense to have a permit. But here, state laws grant a broad right to carry for anyone 21 or older if they can legally own a gun. Currently, only 4% of concealed permit holders are for Arizona residents.
Nashville, Tennessee's Vanderbilt University adds sex reassignment surgery to its student insurance plan. It's a decision being questioned by some lawmakers, but Vanderbilt is not the only university to make this update. Vanderbilt's student health plan already includes hormone therapy, but they did not say when the expected care for transgender surgery will go into effect.
If you're not counted, you don't count. That was the message today from supporters of the LGBT Data Inclusion Act. Orange is the new Black Star. Laverne Cox joined Congressman Raul Grijalva and others to back a bill that would let people include their sexual orientation and gender identity on federal forms. They say the bill would validate the existence of LGBT and transgender people. Cox said participation would be voluntary and confidential, addressing fears of government outing. But Cox said she hasn't heard of many people afraid to participate.
We know that it's not always safe to identify as LGBT. What Adam alluded to earlier is that this would be confidential, that people can confidentially disclose whether they're LGBT, and I think that's a really important aspect of this legislation that people should know about.
Grijalva hopes Congress will pass the bill, while others at today's event said if this Congress won't pass it, another Congress will.
Today, California became the 5th state allowing patients to request end-of-life drugs from doctors. Patients must be over 18, be capable of making their own medical decisions, and have less than 6 months to live. To request end-of-life drugs, patients also have to be able to take medications on their own. The act was signed in October.
Our mothers told us if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. But politicians in this political season did not get the message. Cronkite News reporter Keisha Butts is in our Washington bureau, where efforts are taking place to change that.
Former Representative Gabby Giffords has a tall order for politicians and is asking for civility in politics.
If you notice, I'm not coming here yelling at you.
Giffords and her husband, Mark Kelly, were in Washington to kick off Reviving Civility in Politics campaign.
You know, we've seen a lot of partisanship, petty bickering, and lack of civility that has only grown, and it bothers Gabby a lot.
Carolyn Lukensmeyer, Executive Director of the National Institute for Civil Discourse, based at University of Arizona, says we need a civil political season.
We need to bring civility back into our public discourse now more than ever.
It's not a good political climate, and we need to focus more on the way we treat each other, and especially in campaigns.
Former Congressman Mickey Edwards of Oklahoma says in order for politicians to be civil, so do Americans.
National Institute for Civil Discourse is not just about having members of Congress be civil in their discourse with each other. It's about Americans being civil.
And if politicians are not civil, Kelly says the public should hold them accountable.
You do it at the ballot box. I mean, ultimately, you don't reward people for bad behavior.
Kelly says if you see someone who is using angry or heated rhetoric, not to vote for them. In Washington, I'm Keisha Butts, Cronkite News.
Today's fire in Yarnell sadly returns near a familiar sight.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we take a closer look at the story of 19 hotshots who lost their lives nearly 3 years ago.
We are here tonight to explore tough issues.
You've got to have people around you who aren't just laying rose petals in front of your way. And I kid you not, this is true.
Trust is everything.
This has been so much fun.
It's about reaching people.
There are more players on the world stage. The issues are more complex. We ask the questions that take us closer to the truth.
What happened and what might happen.
Because that's what we do.
Would you like doing something like I do?
I couldn't do this. I'm not qualified.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
Hi, I'm Charlie Rose. As part of the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at ASU, Arizona PBS is providing a state-of-the-art venue for the next generation of journalists. From newsrooms in Washington, Los Angeles, and here in Phoenix, students engage in real-time, real-world news reporting, broadcast production, and online innovation. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS working together in new ways to bridge the classroom to the community in the digital age.
With the Tenderfoot fire spreading so rapidly, we can't help but remember the Yarnell Hill nearly 3 years ago that took the lives of 19 Granite Mountain hotshots. We spoke with an author who wrote a book to preserve the stories of those heroes.
I remember the date specifically. It was July 24th, 2013.
New York Times reporter Fernanda Santos was led by the Arizona State Forestry to the site where 19 Granite Mountain hotshots lost their lives fighting the Yarnell Hill fire. It was that spot that brought to life her first book, The Fire Line.
What is it about these men that led them to stay together when they were faced with this wall of flames?
It was this question that prompted Santos to go through intense research, as she says, to meet the men that were no longer here anymore. Meeting with all 19 of the families, Santos heard stories of the love the men had for their families.
There is one chapter where I talk about Danny Parker, the father of Wade Parker, one of the hotshots. going to the area where they died and helping bring the bodies out of the mountain.
Not able to identify his son, Mr. Parker helped carry all 19 bodies.
And he said to me, you know, those boys, they were all weighed to me that day.
As family members shared stories with Santos, stories about camaraderie and brotherhood also became a theme. And when Santos came across a diagram in a report, the bond the men shared couldn't have been more clear.
There is loyalty here. There is trust involved.
Number 5 is Travis Carter, and number 8 is Andrew Ashcraft. Carter was Saw boss, and Ashcraft leads Saw.
So they worked together, they rode in a truck together, they were close friends.
Through her book, Santos brings life to a time when all we have are the stories to remember it by, coming face to face with the men she wanted to meet, introducing you to them along the way.
These were people like us, you know, they were not superheroes. They were special, but, you know, just really great guys.
In Phoenix, Amber Kawaji, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here is what's coming up next on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, we'll get an update of what could be a significant wildfire season around the state, and we'll meet the next director of the Arizona Opera. That's on the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Gwen Eiffel on the next NewsHour. A travel warning in Europe and long airport security lines to get there. Questions for the Secretary of Homeland Security. That's Thursday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Yay, let's pretend.
Yay.